We'll see how recording a podcast on my phone goes. Hello, and welcome to All the Alleged Details, a white-collar recap podcast where we analyze each episode and go over all the little details that matter.
Mostly to us.
I'm August.
And I'm Rainy.
And today we're going to talk about free fall.
Yay, free fall!
Yay, free fall.
I love this episode.
I love this episode, but I always forget how much I hate how it starts, honestly. But we gotta give a summary first. I just want to talk about the episode.
You hate how it starts?
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Not the first 2 minutes.
That is fair.
The scene beyond that.
Yep, I'll agree with that.
We gotta give a summary first.
We do. All right, so Peter and Neil get called into a boutique featuring the world's largest pink diamond, which they suspect was stolen and replaced with a fake. Neil confirms that it's a forgery. Agent Garrett Fowler from OPR shows up and accuses Neil of the theft. Neil is arrested, but figures out he's being framed and that Fowler is a dirty agent. Neil tells a judge he's going to confess, but instead he escapes, goes to Peter's home, and tells him about Fowler. They solve the crime and find the real thief, clearing Neil's name.
Ooh. Good episode.
It's one of my favorites. Definitely one of my favorites of season 1. For sure.
Yeah. Yep. Before we can start talking about the part that I don't like, we have to talk about the very beginning, which is a walk and talk between Neil and Mozzie.
Yes.
Good old classic walk and talk. It's Neil filling Mozzie in on what happened at the end of the last episode.
Yes.
With the information that Malin provided him.
Yep. And then Peter calls. And I love the phone call with Peter. It's really cute to me.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, where are you? And Neil is like, I'm in my 2-mile radius. And then he's like, where are you? And Peter's like, I'm at my dining room table. It's just cute. It's cute banter.
Yeah.
It's adorable. It's cute to me. We hear that line like 3 times in the episode, so I don't want to like repeat it again, but it's still, I love it. But I also like Neil and Mozzie's walk and talk, because they don't have walk and talks that often.
Something Mozzie says, though, is really interesting, where he congratulates Neil on being scared of the FBI again, essentially.
Yes.
Mozzie says, now you understand my fear of the man. You're back with us, my friend.
Yep.
Which I just think is interesting because obviously Neil's towing this line the whole time he knows Peter and everything of this loyalty to the FBI and this loyalty to everything Mozzie hates.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that upon being told that an FBI agent has Kate, allegedly, that Mozzie rejoices in the fact that Neil would be scared of the FBI again.
Yeah, or like distrustful, at least, of the FBI.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
It's a good little... Mozzie is obviously very happy because... he's not happy that somebody in the FBI has Kate, but he's happy that, he thinks it's putting Neil and Mozzie back on the same page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely... I do think it's, twisting the knife that's in Neil a little bit.
Yeah. Poor Neil.
Poor Neil. But Mozzie is, all on board of helping Neil figure out who has Kate.
He is.
Which he hasn't really been up to this point.
Yeah. They also, I think at one point Mozzie is like, what now? Or something like that. And Neil says that he's going to suffer through another day at work because Peter had just called him. And then Mozzie's like, and I'll eat breakfast alone, which is, I love that because it means that they were going to go have breakfast together. I love them.
And it's apparently an early start to their day with the robbery.
Yeah.
There's a tiny nitpick detail.
Oh?
It's not even anything, but I think it's interesting that Elizabeth hears about the case for the first time because Peter's calling Neil about it. But the robbery just happened. Peter's also just informed about it.
Yes.
I don't know. It's funny to me. I guess it happened while Peter was getting ready or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably. That's actually a good point. I didn't think about that because it happens like off screen, so like I didn't even consider it.
It's a big nothing detail. But it's just one of those funny little things to me that I was like, how is this the first time Elizabeth's hearing about the robbery as well? There was no in between before Peter called Neil to tell her, even though they're like sat down already, like clearly in the middle of what they're doing.
Maybe Peter just sat down. I don't know. I fully never even considered that before.
It's not even anything to consider. It's just me being silly. But it lets Elizabeth give the info dump that's needed in the episode where she just like supplies, because Peter's like, well, I don't know what they're calling me about really. And Elizabeth's like, oh, I wonder if it's about the showcase for the pink diamond happening. And Peter's like, you know what? Fair point. Probably is.
It's like, yeah, that's probably it.
And it's just one of those things that it's so obvious. Sometimes the writing in white collar is not subtle when it's trying to just get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And it makes me laugh.
It makes me laugh too. And then we get to the uncomfy scene.
Oh, then we get to the uncomfy scene.
Where they go to the boutique and there's all these models that are acting like mannequins around. It's really creepy.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is weird. And they have a model who's like wearing the pink diamond that they suspect is a fake. And Peter is like, why are you still open? Why is it still on her? If you think that somebody stole it, he's like freaking out.
Right.
Makes them close down because he watches the surveillance tape.
Yeah, the woman running the showcase is being very intentionally obtuse to what's happening almost.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to lose bad favor of what's happening with her boutique and stuff.
Yeah, because it's like a big promotional event. And she's like, well, we don't know that it's a fake. I don't want to close down if it turns out to be nothing.
Right. But she shows them security footage of a guy coming in and like the diamond's like on a pedestal essentially, and he like rolls it out of frame, and then comes back in frame and like waves at the camera. Oh, he's like dressed all in black with like a bag and a mask over his head.
Yeah, fully cat burglar.
Like, clearly normal person activities, not suggestive of a robbery at all.
Not at all.
And Peter has a good line where he's like, this was your first clue that you might have had a robbery.
And they're like, well, but we don't know. I mean, it's still here.
Yeah. Sorry. Something about that line of like, that was your first clue.
I really love, like, she's panicking because Peter is like, no, we're closing the store. We're shutting you down. This is not happening. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, my appraiser isn't even here yet. And Peter, full confidence. He's like, I've got my own appraiser. 100% confidence that Neil has got this.
Yep. And Neil mostly has it, except he's being weird the entire time about the girl wearing the necklace.
He is. He's got his face right up there instead of just taking it off of her. It's so... Ugh.
Even before he's trying to appraise it, I realized that before they talk to the woman who's running the event, Neil's also like staring at the necklace while she's wearing at it really closely, and Peter like grabs his elbow and drags him away.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Right as they're getting ready to go talk to the whatever her name is.
That's funny. They finally take the necklace off of her, and Neil looks at it, and he's like, yeah, it's a fake. And the woman running the store is just like, that's not possible because it's too big. There's no synthetic pink this big. I love this because Neil just like casually explains exactly how to make a diamond that big, that color. Like just casually, like he doesn't hedge it at all. He's just like, well, this is how you do it. And this is how I know it's a fake because it causes this imperfection.
Yep.
I love when Neil is like honest about crime.
Yeah, fair.
Because usually he's like allegedly or like hypothetically. This time he's just like, no, this is how you do it.
Right.
So Peter is trying to talk with Neil, and like he's like, do you think he hacked the alarm? Like, how do you think he did this? He has to get Neil's attention because Neil is still just trying to talk to the model.
Yep.
He's like, hey, is that what you do? And Neil is like, yeah, it's one option. So finally, Neil is such a child in the beginning of this episode. He's such a child.
Yeah. A child's one way to put it.
But they finally leave and they go to the FBI office. And we meet Garrett fucking Fowler. And I hate him.
Peter and Neil walk in. Yeah, that's fair. Peter and Neil walk in, and Neil's immediately tense because he sees somebody up in the conference room talking with Hughes.
Yep.
And Hughes is upset.
Yeah.
And Jones comes over and tells them that it's an agent from OPR.
Office of Professional Responsibility.
Thank you. But Jones also tells them that Hughes wants to talk with Peter with this OPR agent.
Yes.
And it's such an interesting scene with how Fowler's like very abrasive with Peter.
Yeah.
He's treating Peter like he's a criminal, like he's a suspect.
He is.
Essentially.
I also really like Peter comes in, and I feel like most people, when they're like, oh, there's someone from what's essentially like the FBI's HR, like they would be like calm and probably nervous and scared and like very polite. And Peter just sits down and he's like, that's my file.
Yeah.
Stone face. Like he does not mess around.
Yep. Right. And Hughes tells Peter that Garrett Fowler's allegedly there for like a standard reviewing.
Right.
And Peter's like, yeah, we'll believe that today. Which is also interesting because it's revealed that only some people knew about the pink diamond coming.
Right. Not like it wasn't common knowledge, I guess.
Yeah. And so Peter's obviously suspicious about the fact that OPR is investigating after the diamond was stolen.
Yep. And Fowler immediately is trying to say that Neil should be a suspect, and Peter immediately stands up for Neil. He's like, he wears a tracking anklet. It wasn't him. Fowler says that Neil's tracking for the previous night went like 6 hours of the data was deleted. And Peter's immediate response, like, he doesn't miss a beat. He's just like, well, then I suggest you talk to the U.S. Marshals because they're the ones that monitor that anklet. Like,
yeah,
automatically doesn't miss a beat, standing up for Neil right away, and it means so much to me.
That's fair. He also says, like, Fowler brings up Neil, and Peter turns to Hughes and goes, am I being interrogated? And I like that it was, I don't know how I want to phrase it. I like that Neil being questioned is also an interrogation of Peter.
Yeah.
And it's understandable because Peter's both his boss and like the one who works the closest with Neil.
And he's responsible for him.
Yeah. But I like that Neil being questioned is what sets Peter off to be defensive as he gets to be.
Yes. I like
he's
that
defensive.
too.
He's defensive in the whole scene, but it's I feel like there's a mood to it after Neil starts being questioned.
For sure.
But also they say that I like that Hughes says that like Peter tries to push it off that Fowler should investigate the marshals because they're the ones who monitor the anklet.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Hughes says that Caffrey belongs to the Bureau.
Ooh, that's a good point. It's a good detail. He does say that he belongs to the Bureau that makes him our responsibility.
Yeah. It reminds me of how people talk about dogs when they bite.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good analogy. It's good, but it's like bad, but it's good, but it hurts my feelings.
And it's obviously not a 1-to-1 comparison, but it just reminds me of that. Of, like, if a dog bites somebody, then it's on, like, the owners to pay whatever legal fees or medical fees or anything like that if it gets to that kind of point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good analogy, metaphor.
Just gives me the energy of it.
Yeah, for sure. So Peter goes back to his office and talks to Neil. Neil has a nice, handy list of suspects that he thinks were capable of doing this crime and forging this diamond.
Mm-hmm.
Names a guy, Adrian Tulane, and says that he's their prime suspect. And Peter looks at him and he says, "What about you? Like, could you do this?" And Neil, like, doesn't even act like he thinks, like, he's being suspected of this. He's just like, yeah, if I were legally allowed within 50 feet of the right equipment, maybe.
Right.
And Peter's face when Neil says that, like, he's like, that was not what I wanted you to say.
Right. I have a different question for you.
What?
How long do you think Neil's in Peter's office?
The whole time that he's next door talking to Fowler and Hughes.
Yeah. So do you think Neil's listening at all?
Ooh.
Because there is a door that connects Peter's office to the conference room.
There is. That's a good question.
And also the door to Peter's office was open. I don't think the door to the conference room was open.
It wasn't.
But they're glass doors. Like, they're not particularly soundproof.
They treat them like they are. They act like they are.
They
like,
do treat them like they are.
Even...
That's fair. And I don't know. Maybe it's like half-inch thick, whatever, bulletproof glass.
It's not, because they're the panes are very clearly, like, they tilt them sometimes to, like, get better camera angles and stuff, and you can see that they're tilted sometimes. Like, you can hear through them 100%, but they act like you can't. The glass, like, tilting panes of the FBI office are another detail that I love.
Yeah, that's so fair. I'm rewatching the scene, and it's not much to go on, but the door was open when Peter walked in, and it doesn't seem like Peter closed the door. It just seems like he walked straight in.
Maybe Neil was listening.
So, I don't know. I'm the one who brought it up, but I wanted to be like, I don't think Neil is listening.
I don't think he is either, because he doesn't act like he knows anything of what was said.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a much better rebuttal. But I still think it's interesting. Maybe more as just like a directing little details. Somebody should have shut the door kind of a thing.
Yeah, probably.
But I do think it's interesting that Neil's in Peter's office while they're having this deep conversation about Neil. Like, has like 6 feet of privacy.
Yeah.
He's just right there, right next door. And I'm like, it's suspicious that you are right there, Neil.
Peter doesn't seem suspicious.
But yeah, so they got their man. They got Adrian Tulane.
Yes, they go and talk to him. Neil is very excited about it.
Yeah, because he's apparently another master thief.
Yeah. Neil compares it to Peter meeting Elliot Ness, which I think is adorable.
Who?
Elliot Ness. He's a famous...
He's got nothing from me.
He's a famous detective.
Is
he? Yes.
I was just operating the assumption that it was a sports person.
No,
what's the name?
Elliot Ness. He arrested Al Capone.
Oh, okay. I hear a lot of pop culture references about it, but I never heard the detective's name.
Yeah.
Not enough to be memorable when I'm watching this.
To be fair, I mostly know the name Elliot Ness because there's a whole entire episode of Supernatural about him.
Oh, that's so fair. Well, I'm glad to understand a new reference. I fully was just like, oh, that's somebody on a football team.
Nope, it's a famous detective.
Okay. Anyway, Adrian Tulane's weird. His apartment's weird.
I knew you were going to say that, And I specifically put a point in here that I actually really love the purple couches and I want them.
I like the purple couch. It's more just the vibes, the energy in the place.
It is super weird because he's just chilling on this giant, aggressively purple couch. And there's like 3 women all wearing white. And one of them is on the floor doing an all white puzzle.
No.
And it's huge. It's a huge white puzzle.
Yeah. There is a giant white puzzle, but the girl doing the puzzle is wearing like a blue tank top.
Oh, I thought she was wearing white.
No.
Okay. Well, still, there's a weird giant white puzzle.
There's weird energy because they're led in by a woman, and there's just this woman like lounging, like very like doing a puzzle, but with weird energy.
Weird energy.
It's almost like interpretive dance energy.
Okay.
Like
that's not
she's
what
not
I would
actually
call it.
doing the puzzle. She's being very performative about her actions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Agreed. It's weird.
Yeah. It's like living in some sort of weird art project that's meant to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, it does have that feeling. Like, it doesn't feel real. It feels staged. It feels like performative art. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Performative art. Interpretive dance. Similar, not the same.
Yes. So, Peter, like, of course, he's like, where were you last night? And the guy is, like, already prepared. He's like, I knew someone was going to come and ask me about this because this always happens. He hands him a folder. It's supposedly got plane tickets because he supposedly arrived back home from Madrid that same morning, which is very suspicious in itself, if you ask me, the timing on it. And then he's got like pictures from Spain in there.
Right.
And he's just being like very slick, and Neil is trying not to smile about it.
Yeah.
And Peter's pissed off.
Right. Pissed the guy's giving him the runaround.
That, and he's also like pissed off that Neil is kind of admiring him, because at one point he like snaps at Neil and he's like, let's hope he's guilty too.
Right.
Because he knows that like Neil is suspected.
Right. There's a really interesting growing tension in Peter.
Yes.
The more it seems like Neil could have done it.
Yes.
And so he goes from being very defensive of Neil to Fowler and Hughes to just like getting closer and closer to this breaking point of losing his own faith in Neil.
Yeah. Which kind of happens as soon as they leave Tulane's apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they go back down there. They go back to the street. They're having a little walk and talk. And Peter asks Neil for an alibi. And Neil's like, I get it. Like, I'm probably the top suspect. And Peter just turns to him and he's like, did you do it? And Neil is so offended. So offended. He's so hurt.
Yeah. I do like Peter asking point blank.
Yes.
And just wanting to hear it from Neil. And like Peter asked, he goes, did you do it? And the first time Neil's like, come on.
Yeah, he says, come on, man.
And Peter asks again. And Neil like answers very genuinely. He's like, no, I didn't do it.
Yes. Which counter, like you said you really like that Peter asked him like very point blank. And I said that I really like when Neil like really wants it to be clear that he's telling the truth. He uses such really clear and straightforward language, because it's rare for him to like actually tell a lie. Like he doesn't lie. He misdirects.
Right.
And so for him to be like, no, I didn't do it. Like he's trying to tell Peter that he's telling the truth. Right.
But Peter doesn't believe him.
No, and Neil walks away mad.
Yeah, in very funny random slow-mo.
It's got to be dramatic. We have to know that they're fighting and that he's mad.
Right, with a whole 5 seconds of slow-mo. Not even that much. But in the next scene, even after Neil point blank tells Peter he didn't do it, Peter still asks Jones to look at. This comes back to the pilot where Neil told Peter that he left his signature on the forged banknotes he made.
Yeah.
Which is how they find... Oh, I can't think of his name. Crowley.
Curtis Hagen.
Thank you.
Welcome to our Supernatural crossover episode.
What a name for me to pull out. I don't watch Supernatural. What a name.
I had you thinking about Supernatural. That's probably what it is.
Right. But anyway, and so because of that reference from the pilot, Peter has Jones run that.
Yeah, he tells Jones to look at the bonds under polarized light, which is what Neil told him to do in the pilot episode.
Right.
But you can tell, like, he doesn't want to ask Jones to do it. Like, he hesitates. And you can see it on his face. Like, he doesn't want to do it. And I was wondering, do you think that he asked Jones to do it because he couldn't bring himself to do it, like, himself?
No. I think that's just the thing that someone of Peter's status does.
Okay.
Jones is basically his second-hand man in the first season.
Okay.
And so I think it's just how Peter's used to doing things, is that he gets
he delegates?
Yeah. Delegates.
Okay. That's fair.
And he also trusts Jones.
Well, yeah.
He kind of wants someone to share the burden of what Neil's doing with.
Yeah.
What he suspects.
Jones even asks him, he's like, is this related to our diamond heist? And Peter says, let's hope not.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
Oh, I'm looking at the transcript, and Peter tells him to look for a signature, and Jones says to look. He's like, what, Neil's signature? And so yeah, they're on the same page.
Yeah, they are. Unfortunately.
What's the meme? It's like, free him, officer. I know he did all that bad shit, but
he was just being silly. Yeah.
So, something like that.
Aw, Neil.
But then we get an interesting scene between Neil and Mozzie.
We do. Neil goes home, and Mozzie just pulls out all of these files on all of the FBI agents because Neil asked him to look into them. And I'm really curious, how did Mozzie get all of this?
That's so fair. Yeah, he reveals a lot of information beyond just, like, names and jobs and stuff.
Yeah, he's like going through lists of people.
Yeah. He says that Ruiz from...
Organized Crime?
No, from Book of Hours.
Oh, yes.
He's like, oh, that man's got a lot of skeletons in his closet. Which became a fandom staple.
Yes, it did. He also says, I don't think he's smart enough to pull this off.
Yep. Which is fair.
It's so fair.
I would like to know about those skeletons, but... He also looks into Hughes, which I thought was very funny.
Yep. And we find out that Jones actually does have a first name, thanks to Mozzie. He says, did you know his first name is Clinton?
And I love that detail because when you watch the director's commentary, it's revealed that they put that in because the fans were asking on Twitter so much what Jones's first name was.
To be fair, he deserved to have a first name.
He did deserve to have a first name. I just like when there's that moment, and then there's also a moment in season 2 where it's very obvious that the director's responding, or like the writers are responding to what the fandom's doing.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so I always like that bit because it pings in my head every time of like, and that's when the fans got involved.
That is so fair.
Another interesting thing about that scene, though, is that the camera does basically a 360 around them. Everything but, like, going behind Neil's back. It's just an interesting thing to notice. I just think it's fun.
August, always picking out those filming details.
Even if it is just for the blocking and stuff, that's still something interesting to notice and something to think about.
It is.
I got more camera stuff later.
I know you do. The last thing I want to say about this scene in particular is that even Mozzie thinks that Neil did it.
I have it in my notes because I think it's interesting that Mozzie, season 1 Mozzie and the rest of the show Mozzie are two different Mozzies.
Oh, yes. 100%.
Because any other season, Mozzie would know that Neil didn't take it because Neil didn't tell him he took it.
Exactly.
But season 1 Mozzie is like, well, maybe you did take it and you didn't tell me. No, any other season Mozzie, that would be an affront.
It would, 100%. He'd be like, I can't believe you took this and you didn't tell me.
Or like, he would be like, I can't believe Peter thinks you took it because if you did take it, you would have told me you were going to take it.
Yes, 100%.
And so, it's just one of those, we talked about it a couple episodes ago, of the separation between Mozzie now and Mozzie later in the show.
Yeah. They are two different Mozzies. This is just one of those moments where I was like, this is not my man. That's so fair. We get to the next scene, and I don't think I'm capable of talking about it normally.
Oh, no. Is that you telling me to talk about it, or is that you being like, hold on?
I don't know. I can try. We're back in the FBI office. Neil is trying to be helpful. He's trying to like talk about who could have done it. And in walks Jones, whispers something to Peter, and Neil looks worried. And then in comes fucking Fowler.
Yeah.
And tells Neil that he's under arrest.
Yep. Because they found his signature on the diamond.
They did. They found his initials on the diamond. And, interesting. They look exactly like his initials that were on the bonds. Which
Yep.
is suspicious to me, but okay.
Yep.
So, Fowler says you're under arrest, goes to arrest him, and then Peter says stop. And Neil, for half a second, looks so cocky. He's like, yeah, that's right. And then Peter's like, I should do it. He's my responsibility.
Right.
And Neil just...
Yep. Wondered how much space I should give you.
Are you letting me calm down? I didn't want to like steamroll if you wanted to take over, but I can keep going.
No, I was just giving you space. I wanted you to have a chance to breathe.
To make my noises.
Yeah, Neil's devastated. He
like
tries to convince Peter that he didn't do it. Tries to like whisper to him.
Yes.
And Peter tells him, you have the right to remain silent. Please.
Yeah, he says remain silent, please. It kills me. My favorite little detail of this scene, though, is after he cuffs him, Peter like picks up his suit jacket and tucks it over his hands to like hide the handcuffs to try to give him some dignity while they're walking out.
Right.
It means so much to me.
Yep. And that was a acting decision from Tim.
I love that. It was such a good decision. Such a good decision.
Right. So powerful.
Yes. Because it really changes the scene, I think. It adds so much to it.
Yep.
I noticed this time that when they're like, after he does that and they're walking down the stairs and walking out, he doesn't even have a hand on Neil at all. Like, Neil is just being so calm and cooperative and just walking out with them. And Peter doesn't even have a hand on him.
Yeah.
I did
right?
it.
They try to play it casual, like Neil's just casually walking out of the office while surrounded by like Peter, Fowler, and I think
Jones, I think? Is Jones
probably
there?
Fowler's lackey.
Oh, him. They're trying to like act like it's not a big deal, but clearly everybody in the office knows what's happening because everybody is watching. And it's in that same, like, dramatic slow-mo.
Yep. Very slow-mo. Lots of little tiny cuts to accommodate the slow-mo. So it cuts to they're in the jail.
They are.
Neil's been officially arrested back in Prison Orange and everything.
Yep. Peter's just sitting at the table across from Neil. But Peter is, like, not even facing him. Like, he can't even look at Neil.
Yeah, he's sat sideways in his chair looking the other way.
He is. Oh. And Peter just says, "You let me down." And Neil is like, "I let you down?"
Right. So, first I have to explain what a dolly zoom is. And a dolly zoom is when the camera goes in one direction while the lens zooms in or zooms out in the opposite. So, say the camera's pulling backwards, going further away from the subject. The camera would also be zooming in on the subject. This creates a distortion effect where the subject stays the same size, but the background or the foreground will, like, get bigger or smaller in comparison.
Yes.
And it's used in horror movies a lot. It's a very cool camera effect that gives, like, an uneasy feeling to the shot.
It's really neat.
And so Neil tells Peter, like, he says, "I let you down." And Peter starts to say, "You told me to look under your bonds under a polarized light." And while Peter's saying that, there's a dolly zoom happening to show the prison walls getting, like, zoomed in on bigger around him. It's very subtle, but it is there.
It's so neat. Like, when you know that it's there and you look for it, it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. And it's also making Neil slightly bigger in the shot as well. And so, like, the prison, while Peter's talking about the polarized light thing, both the prison and Neil are, like, subtly growing around Peter. But then there's an interesting thing.
Oh, so there's one on Peter and there's one on Neil.
Hold on, I'm getting there. There's another zoom, not a dolly zoom, just a standard zoom, that's taking from the side of Peter and Neil talking. Or no, of Peter telling Neil everything that he thinks, all the reasons he thinks Neil did it. That the thief is associated with law enforcement, his anklet was tampered with, he has no alibi, and his initials are on the diamond. And after that, it goes to a shot on Neil, and the dolly zooms now on him, where Neil's saying, "I was set up." Peter says, "By who?" And the dolly zoom kicks in with Neil going, "I'm working on it." And so this, like, framing of distress starts on Peter, and then as Peter gets more confident in Neil having done it, shifts to Neil.
I didn't realize there was one on Peter too.
I just learned that on my recent rewatch.
I'm watching it now. Oh my god, it does. Look at that.
And so it's this really interesting cameraing of, like, zoom on Peter, zoom on both of them, zoom on Neil. And to me, in my overthinking, it's Peter being distressed, coming to terms with the fact that Neil did it, and now Neil being distressed because Peter thinks he did it.
Ooh. I love that. I love that. They're both distressed.
Yep.
I'm distressed. Oh my god.
So, yeah, Peter thinks Neil did it, and Neil's upset.
Well, yeah.
Everybody's upset.
Everybody's upset.
You know who's not upset?
Mozzie.
Mozzie. Who's so excited to put his University of Phoenix law degree to use as he comes into the scene.
I want to know.
Oh, you want to talk about their distress more?
No. I just want to know, like, I realized that Peter's just visiting. Peter's just visiting Neil. He's just there. He didn't have to go and see him. He didn't really. He's just visiting.
Yeah. I do wonder how long it's been between Neil being arrested and now. Actually, hold on.
My gut feeling is like a day.
Okay, so Peter is wearing a different tie, so it's not the same day. That's all I was wondering.
Okay. Yeah, my gut says it's the next day.
Probably. That's probably more realistic
No,
in prison world than...
It is, because when Peter goes back to the office, Garrett says, "Excellent job yesterday."
Oh, okay. Good. Good job.
But yes, Mozzie comes in. They're like, his lawyer's here, and it's just Mozzie. And Peter's like, he's a lawyer. Mozzie's very proud. He's like, yes, you can.
He's so proud.
I've got
He's
a
so
University
excited.
of Phoenix online degree.
He's so excited, especially because he just won his big court case. But before we can fully get into it, Peter goes to leave because Neil's lawyer's there.
Mm-hmm.
And as Peter goes to leave, Neil tells him, "I didn't let you down."
Yes.
And while he says it, he has like a hard time maintaining eye contact with Peter.
He does. And Peter's face when Neil says that, like, you can tell it, like, it gives him pause for a second.
Yeah, Peter's face has this really interesting, like, progression in it.
Yes.
Where Neil saying, "I didn't let you down," specifically, "I didn't let you down" over, like, "I didn't do it," or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, Peter goes from being, like, stern to almost curious to me.
Yeah.
Like, he, like, is looking at Neil with, like, questioningly.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
And it feels like, to me, it's that, like, it's kind of like asking for clarification almost through body language. And that kind of prodding to Neil makes him uncomfortable. Where it's like, that was really vulnerable of me to say.
Yeah.
And now you're, like, pushing for more. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And that, like,
sometimes I'm standing out on a limb.
No, it does. And then, like, after Peter gives him that look, that's like when Neil looks down and away from him.
Yeah.
It's like
that's when the vulnerability gets to be too much.
Yes. Ugh. My boys.
The boys. But anyway, Mozzie gets to be all hyped up because he won a court case. Okay. I so badly wish we could have seen whatever this was with Mozzie and the judge.
What do you mean he won a court case?
He somehow, I don't know what exactly was happening, but he got a judge to agree to releasing all the files they had on Neil.
Oh, yeah.
And he said that the judge raised his voice at the prosecutor.
Oh, that's true.
So whatever was happening, it was Mozzie, Neil's lawyer, versus the prosecution.
That's true.
And Mozzie won the argument to the point where the judge was yelling at the prosecution.
Good old Mozzie. I love Mozzie.
So, and whatever Mozzie's got going on, he's won at least one court case.
Oh, Mozzie.
Also, to be fair, his client does get proved innocent in this.
This is true.
So even if that wasn't a court case, obviously it's not a court case in its entirety, but it was
part of one, yeah.
Yeah, part of the argument. But he does win in the end. Spoiler. That's a fic. I don't know where that fic is, but it should be one.
It should be one.
Anyway, so Mozzie tells Neil that he got the judge to give him all of the files they have on Neil, all the files the FBI has on Neil.
Yes.
And it's there's kind of two scenes happening at the same time.
Yes. It's like back in the FBI office and also in the prison.
Yeah. Because Hughes is telling Peter that they had to release all the files. And Mozzie's telling Neil that they got all the files, and Mozzie's absolutely giddy about it.
He is. We also have that moment of Fowler saying, "Excellent job yesterday, thanks for the help." And Peter's just so pissed off about it. And he's like, "Caffrey was a great asset. He did good work for us." Mm-hmm. Fowler's like, "Yeah, but he's still a criminal."
Right. And I'm glad you bring that up, because it's so interesting to me how much to every FBI agent, except Peter, kind of.
Yeah.
The fact that Neil's a criminal is always spot number one.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good of a job he does. That is always the first characteristic of Neil.
Yeah, it's always like forefront in their mind.
Yep.
Neil, criminal, also good at his job. But first criminal.
Right.
And then Peter's face when Hughes tells him that the lawyer requested every file the Bureau has, he grins.
Yeah.
I love it. He's like so proud. He's like that little sneaky bastard.
Neil tells Mozzie that after they opened the discovery on all the files on Neil, he had Mozzie follow Fowler.
Yes.
And Mozzie found Fowler shredding documents and then dumping them in the dumpster, dumping them in the trash immediately.
Yes. And Mozzie recovered them, put them in a bag, and brought them to Neil so that he can do arts and crafts.
Yep. And then they have the conversation about Mozzie gives information on the judge.
Yes.
And Neil notices that he has a private office not connected to the federal building.
Yes. And Neil's response to finding that information out is to ask Mozzie to buy a bakery. And I want to know, how does Neil know that there's a bakery there? Like, he just knows right away. He's like, bakery right there. We got to buy it.
Right. I feel like, because I think it's near where they work.
Yeah, because Peter walks there. So it has to be near maybe they've like gone to that bakery.
Right. I have a bigger question.
Okay.
I had the thought of this most recent rewatch was the bakery actually for sale, or did Neil buy them out?
I was wondering that too. Like, was it for sale, or did they just make a good enough offer that they were like, fuck yeah.
Right. I was thinking about that today, because I was like, oh, there just happened to be a bakery for sale right below the judge's chambers. That's kind of how I always thought about it. I was like, oh, that's silly. But then I thought today, I was like, oh, maybe they just offered them a lot of money.
Yeah. Which is kind of like wild that they spent so much money on this elaborate plan to get Neil to jump out of a window.
Not only did they spend so much money just to get the bakery, they buy a custom banner. What is it called?
The greatest cake.
Awning.
Oh,
they buy like a custom awning with the greatest cake. They gave it a punny name.
They did.
For Neil's escape. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are.
That cracks me up.
I love it so much. And then they keep it. They keep it because it's brought up later. I can't. They keep the damn bakery.
There's a good scene of Peter talking with Lauren and Jones.
Yes.
And Peter asks them what Neil's lawyer's been up to, and they're like, we can't really tell because attorney-client privilege.
Yeah. All they know is that he bought a bakery, but they don't have an address. It's redacted.
Yeah. And Peter's reaction to Neil buying a bakery.
It's so
He
good.
says 3 separate times with the most, if a puppy turning its head in confusion could be a tone of voice.
Yes.
It would be Peter Burke going, he bought a bakery?
A bakery? Why do you buy a bakery?
Why do you buy a bakery? A bakery?
A bakery.
It's so good.
It's so good. He's so confused.
But after they reveal that Neil bought a bakery somewhere, it cuts to Peter meeting with Elizabeth right before Neil's arraignment.
Nope. First it cuts to Neil doing arts and crafts.
oh, you know what? It's because it's not in the transcript. Nobody says anything in that scene.
Yeah. It's just Neil taping the shredded, well, gluing the shredded pieces of
Yep.
phone transcript back together. And it's very clearly like his conversation with Peter when he called him at the beginning of the episode, where he's like, where are you? I'm at my dining room table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my 2-mile radius. Like that conversation.
Yep. And it's very dramatic.
Yes. So he tapes it back together. And then the next thing that we see is Neil getting ready for his hearing. And Mozzie is holding up the mirror for him.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
It's very cute. Neil's getting dressed in, or ready in the same, like, interrogation space
Yeah.
he's just talking to Peter with.
And he's, like, straightening his tie.
So it's just cute.
It's adorable.
It's adorable. So then it cuts to Peter and Elizabeth meeting up before the arraignment.
Yes. Which I think is so sweet that she showed up for him for moral support, because he's about to go to Neil's hearing.
Yeah. So Elizabeth surprised Peter because she was going to join him to go to Neil's sentencing with him. And there's something interesting here where I feel like, again, we were talking about how Neil's like, or we were talking about how Peter's slowly like been building up until all the evidence was too far gone for him to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
And so Peter tells Elizabeth that he's certain Neil did it.
Yes.
Even though Neil's saying he was framed.
Yes.
And I just want to put a pin in that, because I keep getting ahead of myself and talking this episode, but I just want to put a pin in that moment.
Okay, good.
To talk about at the end of the scene.
Yes. I mean, honestly, I feel like you can unpin it almost immediately.
Right.
Because
there's some jumping out of windows that happens. Well, we got to get to that part first.
I disagree, actually.
Oh.
Because the next thing is Lauren comes up to tell Peter that the arraignment's been moved because Neil said that he's going to confess. And I think right then is when the seed of doubt like starts to bloom, because Peter's immediate reaction to that is Neil doesn't confess.
That's fair.
And I feel like it's Lauren saying that makes like, it rings that little alarm bell in the back of Peter's head where he's like, Neil doesn't confess.
I agree, it rings an alarm bell, but I think that's the alarm bell of Neil's up to something.
And not maybe Neil's...
Yeah, like I don't think it's necessarily a Neil's innocent alarm.
Okay,
this is funny to me though, because now that Peter knows Neil's up to something, he basically tells Elizabeth she can go. And Elizabeth's like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that Elizabeth came all the way down she stopped whatever she was doing to come watch Neil's arraignment. But now that Neil's up to something, she's like, oh, I can leave.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want to see what Neil's up to.
Right. I would have been like, no, I'd like to come.
Elizabeth isn't deadly curious like we are.
She's learned from Peter about plausible deniability.
Peter starts heading the way to the new sentencing place.
He does.
Where the judge's personal chambers are.
Yes.
And interlaced in that is Neil sitting with the judge. And when Mozzie was earlier helping Neil with his tie, Mozzie makes a reference to the fact that the judge's air conditioning was going to be out.
Yep. It just mysteriously went out.
Yep. And now that Neil's talking with the judge, he has the bailiff open the window because it's so hot in there, Rainey.
It's so hot. Which makes sense because he is above a bakery.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I was curious because everybody's wearing coats and stuff outside, so you think the heating would be on and not the air conditioning. And that it wouldn't be so super hot outside.
Now that bakery makes it super hot in there.
That's fair, but it is 6 stories above the bakery.
I thought it was just the next floor above the bakery.
Well, it's technically the 4th floor. Judge Hickman's office, 4th floor.
Oh, that's right. The bakery's on the 1st floor.
But Peter later says that But Peter later says that Neil did a 6-story swan dive.
He does. That's right.
That's where I got my first reference from. Anyway, in reference to that, because the window's open and Neil like starts to confess, but then he is like, I'm gonna confess that I didn't do this actually.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna prove that I didn't do it. Bye, bitch. And jumps out the window.
But he has so many good lines in there. He's like, I confess.
This is definitely a scene we could quote line by line.
Oh, definitely. He's like, I've done a lot of things in my life that I'm not proud of. And then he says, no, that's not true. I'm proud of most of them. And I love that line specifically.
Yeah.
Peter is like walking up to the building where the judge's office is, and he sees the bakery and just immediately like it snaps into place. He's like, he bought that bakery.
I half wonder if seeing the if he just saw the bakery and knew that Neil bought it, or if he read the sign and saw that it's called the greatest cake. And that's what signaled to him
that might have
it was Neil's bakery.
Oh my god, I love that they called it the greatest cake. I love it so much.
I love the fact that they went that extra
cute.
detail. They were like, no, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it with some pizzazz.
And I just want to bring up this one line because I mentioned it, I think in our last episode, where I said it's kind of a repeating line from Neil. The judge asks, like, if you didn't do it, who did? And Neil says, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And then he winks and then dives out the window.
Yep.
And Peter watches this happen. He watches him fall out of the window, land onto the awning, go down onto the ground, and then stand up. And only when Neil stands up does Peter take one single step. Mm-hmm. One step towards him. Mm-hmm. And then he stops. And then Neil just kind of shrugs and then runs away. And Peter just smiles and lets him go.
Right.
He made the choice to let Neil go because he 100%, if he had started running when he saw Neil jumping out of that window, he would have caught him. 100% would have caught him.
Yeah. Yep. And I am just so curious about, because the next scene is Peter and Lauren looking at a manhole. Well, no. Yes. Peter lets Neil run and Neil jumps into a van and the van drives away.
Yes.
And then it cuts to them looking at the manhole.
And Peter immediately knows.
Yep.
Peter immediately knows that Neil isn't in the van.
Says as much.
Yep.
And so they cut to the manhole and Peter's talking about how Neil's gone underground.
Yeah, he asked Jones to find out where the tunnels lead because he knows that's where Neil is.
But Fowler comes over, and I'm going to skip a little bit because I want to tie it back into Peter letting Neil run.
Okay.
But Peter tells Fowler that they'll find Neil by putting up roadblocks and wanted posters.
Yes.
Which I'm finally going to pull a pin out that I put in way back in the pilot episodes.
Yes.
Because Peter tells those officers in the prison in the pilot that they aren't going to catch Neil using roadblocks and wanted posters.
Yep.
And so I'm very curious as to where between Peter telling Elizabeth that he's certain Neil did it to Neil jumping out and running, where did Peter change his mind?
It's such a good question. And maybe he didn't fully...
Because I don't feel like Neil running is proof of innocence.
No. I do think that maybe, like, Lauren saying that he was going to confess, maybe, like...
But that's just still so much part of Neil planning something.
It could be, but it also could be, like, I don't know. I feel like... even Neil planning something, like, Peter knows that there's something up here.
Right. But
because Neil doesn't run for no reason. Like, he only escaped prison for Kate. The first time.
It still doesn't answer my question of why this is different. Why Neil planning something is a sign that he didn't do it. If Peter's so certain.
Yes. Because Neil could have escaped from prison anytime, and he didn't until something happened to Kate, and he needed to go and find her. And so, like, he knows, like, when Neil gets caught, he's fine serving the time and, like, doing what he needs to do. So I think the fact that, like, he knows that something is up.
But he already knew something was up because Neil was telling him something was up.
Yeah, but the fact that Neil is, like, plotting something, I think it, like, tells him, okay, there's something more going on here, and he really didn't do it. Because if he did do it, he trusts that Neil would, like, be a good boy and stay in prison.
Yeah.
Which entirely could just be my headcanon, which is valid.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is okay to disagree, but that's how I see it.
The weirdest part is that he tells Elle that he's certain he did it. Out of anybody to tell, telling Elizabeth that he's certain. If there was anybody who would tell his doubt to, it would have been her.
Yeah. I also, like, wonder if him telling Elle that he's certain was also him just, like, trying to convince himself a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, because he's about to go to the arraignment.
Right.
Also, like, I'm not sure that he does 100% believe that Neil is innocent just because he ran. I think, like, he's just still trying to protect Neil. Like, he wants to hear him out and get to the bottom of it. And so he's going to keep Fowler from finding him any way that he can because he wants to find Neil first and figure it out.
Yeah. I think if that was the case, then Neil telling Peter that he didn't let him down would have been the changing of the tide.
I think it started it. You can definitely see it in his face.
Right. I don't think Neil running is a good point to twist things.
That's fair.
It is very funny though because Peter is now fighting Fowler. And everything but fists involved.
Yeah, basically. He 100% blames Fowler for Neil, like,
all of
acting up. 100%.
Yeah.
All of it.
He tells Fowler, I've been working my ass off to keep this kid on the straight and narrow. He's been helping us win cases until you came along.
Exactly.
And then they start squabbling and Hughes has to break them up.
Yeah. Oh, those two.
Yeah. And there's another interesting line from Fowler because Hughes gives Peter the case, essentially. He especially gives him the case of looking for Neil.
Yeah, he says that Peter's going to be in charge of finding Neil.
And Fowler tries to tell Hughes that he's not comfortable with Burke being in charge.
Yep. And Hughes says, I don't care.
Right. And I think it's interesting just Fowler trying to stop Peter from winning.
Okay.
Because I think Fowler knows that if Peter is the one in charge, obviously he gets the control, and he gets the control of the narrative happening. Whereas Fowler's trying to spin a very specific story.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Because, like, with the roadblocks and wanted posters thing, it becomes a task that I do think Fowler kind of thinks isn't the best way to do things. Because he kind of gives little prodding questions to Peter now and then.
Yeah.
Of, like, where do you think Neil really is? And stuff like that. And so I think Fowler knows he's being sent on a wild goose chase. But he can't really do anything about it because it's, like, the orders of the operation.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't think about that before. But also it 100% makes sense that Hughes would put Peter in charge because...
Yeah.
I mean, in their eyes, Fowler's the one who fucked up and screwed the pooch on this one. And also Peter's the only one who has ever been able to fight Neil.
Right. I also think it's interesting because Lauren asked if they could track Neil with his anklet. And Peter, like, rolls his eyes, and he's like, they took it off him when they arrested him. And he kind of makes it seem like it was Fowler's choice to take the anklet off of him.
Right, but like, why would they leave
Why
it
would
on
they
him
leave
in
it on
prison?
him if he was going to prison? I guess theoretically Fowler could have advocated that if he was going to be out of the prison to put the anklet back on him.
I guess, yeah.
But
I don't know.
it's just something about Peter's like body language and stuff that makes it seem like he thinks they should have left the anklet on in prison. It's like, I don't think that's really what's supposed to be being implied here, but it just gives that energy, and it's very funny to me.
It does.
Hughes also says that Burke knows Caffrey better than anyone, and I think that's cute.
It is. It's very true. Well, anyone except Mozzie, maybe. It goes back and forth with those two. They both know Neil better than anyone else. So then Neil makes a phone call, and he calls Elizabeth's coworker on her coworker's cell phone.
Yeah.
Which is wild. From a payphone.
Right. And Elizabeth's all spun around. She's like, how did you get this information?
Yeah. How did you get this number? And then she's like, that's a dumb question.
Right.
It's very cute. I want to point out something because I mentioned it in the last episode too. Okay. She says, everybody, including my husband, is looking for you. Every time Neil's in trouble, it's always my husband. It's not Peter. It's my husband.
Yeah.
And it's such a cute little Elizabeth thing.
It is very cute. And Neil tells her that Peter will find him soon enough because he needs her help.
Yes. So cute.
And then it's my favorite scene.
It's such a good scene.
Because Peter comes home and Elizabeth's like standing in the dark, and Peter's telling them about how they haven't found Neil yet, and the FBI stationed detail outside to like watch over the house.
Yes.
And Peter goes, as if Neil would be careless enough to come here. And then he looks over at Elizabeth, who has guilt written in neon letters across her face.
Yes. Yes. She's like looking away, looking down.
Yep. And Peter just like gets a look on his face, and he goes, where do you think he did go, Elle? And then he sees the shadow, because they have a door to their kitchen, but it's like a semi-transparent glass.
Yeah.
Like a frosted glass kind of thing. And he sees a shadow pass over it, and he looks at Elizabeth, and he goes, is he in the kitchen now?
She just nods. She's like, yeah. Yeah, he's in the kitchen.
There's a really good moment that I think is fun because to me, it's Neil teaching Elizabeth the tools of the trade.
Okay.
Because Peter says to Elizabeth that she lied to the FBI, and Elizabeth's like, no, I didn't lie.
I did not lie to the FBI. I just distracted them.
And so I think it just sounds like something Neil would have told her, where it's like, you're not gonna lie.
Oh, yes.
You're just gonna distract them. That's not lying.
It's not lying. You're just distracting them.
Yep.
It's so cute. I love that scene so much.
It's so funny. It makes me laugh every time.
Yes. And Peter kind of scolds Neil. He's like, of all the people, you go to my wife. And Neil's like, you say that like it's a bad thing. And he's got a point. Like, of all the people for him to go to, I feel like Elizabeth was a good person for him to go to.
Yeah, that's fair. Neil tells Peter that he knows it was Fowler who framed him.
Yes.
He shows him the transcript of their phone calls and stuff. And he shows Peter that there's a bug in his phone.
He does.
They discover that it's a bureau bug, a standard issue bug. But then it's that they didn't have authorization to bug Peter's house.
Yes.
But Peter finally believes Neil that Fowler is the one framing him.
Yes, he does. And he agrees not to drag Neil back to prison.
Yeah. And then it cuts to like them having a quiet moment together, which is fun.
Yeah.
Where Peter's trying to pretend everything's fine, except he's sitting at his kitchen dining table in the dark.
But he's sitting there like trying to look very casual, and then Neil is just like on the floor leaning against the wall. And something about the framing of that scene it's really like the blocking of it is really good to me.
Yeah. It's very simple, and it's very like sweet isn't the right word.
It's like casual but not casual at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that thing that Flu likes to say, it's casually intimate.
Yeah. Yep. It is definitely that. Sorry, I can never get over the fact that Peter's sitting there reading files and drinking a tea, coffee, something out of a mug, and also in the dark.
In the dark. You know, I like to sit in my home in the dark, so...
Sit in the dark and read my work papers.
Yeah, why not?
And I get it because, like, they can't be seen. Like, they're not casting shadows. But... I don't know. I just think feel like the agents outside must be a little suspicious. Because it's like, oh, Peter went inside and no lights came on.
Like, there's something up there.
He came home and all the lights stayed off. Elizabeth might have... Well, obviously Elizabeth probably went upstairs. So maybe the light went on up there and that's good enough. But...
I guess, maybe. And then Peter's just sitting there in case, like, they come up and look through the window or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're, like, hiding Neil. Like, Neil's hiding against the wall, still in case they can see them.
Yeah.
So Peter's trying to look casual, and Neil's hiding, but all the lights are off. I'm like, this is mixed messages.
It's very funny to me.
Either Neil has to hide.
I love it.
Because they can be seen, so Peter has to act casual. Or the lights are off so they can't be seen. But then Neil doesn't have to hide. I don't know. This is super nitpicking. This does not matter.
They just wanted it to be dramatic with the lights off.
Yeah. And it works. It's very cute. It's very intimate.
It is.
And...
it's very good. I like it a lot.
And Neil says, he's like confesses that he's still looking for Kate. And Peter has a good line where he goes,
yeah,
am I supposed to be surprised by that? Am I supposed to look surprised?
Right. He's like, it's obvious. Of course you're still looking for Kate.
Right. And he gives Peter the infamous photo of Kate with the...
He does.
With the Kate at the ATM machine. It reveals that he's been hiding a piece of it where there's a hand with an FBI ring on it. Well, a ring. Excuse me. Ring. Let me not get ahead of myself.
Yeah, are you trying to leave space for me to go off?
I figure that's a rant for the next episode.
It is, but I have to say something about it here.
Okay.
I have to.
Go
I have
for
to.
It.
I have to. Because Neil says the man who has Kate is with the FBI. And if Peter had just said right then, all he had to say is, she's right, that's an FBI ring. Problem solved. None of the drama of the next episode would have happened. Yeah. And it's so frustrating to me. Why didn't Peter say that? Why didn't he say that? That's my rant for this episode.
Oh, that's so fair.
It drives me crazy every time.
Yeah.
But also, like, they needed to create the tension.
Yeah.
That happens at the end of this episode.
Yeah. Neil says that he thinks Fowler's the one holding Kate.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't know what he could want from me still. Could be anything. And Neil and Peter's like, oh, like what? And Neil goes, no, you'd have to arrest me. And I think that's so funny.
Yeah. And then Peter's just like, well, I should be arresting you now.
Yep. I wonder what Neil thought of in that moment. That he almost told Peter and then was like, no, I can't. You'll arrest me.
Yeah. I wonder too. I wonder if it's one of the things that he like mentioned with Mozzie.
Yeah. Apparently he's stolen
like Washington's love letters.
Yeah. Neil says we need to look into Fowler. And Peter's like, I can't investigate OPR. And Neil hits him with that he's already investigating you.
It's true. It's very true.
And Peter says we'd have to go behind the bureau's back. Neil says, not if you clear me first. And then the really good line of, isn't that what you do for a living?
Yes.
And it's like...
And Peter just grins.
What does that line mean, Neil? What do you mean that Peter's
That's
living
a good point.
is clearing Neil's name? I think
That's Peter's job.
I think clearing Neil's name is the opposite of what Peter's been doing.
Not anymore. Now they're on the same team.
But I mean, like, up to this point, well, up to the pilot, Peter's whole life has been dirtying Neil's name by proving he did shit.
It's very true.
He hasn't been clearing shit. And even, like, theoretically, even with getting Neil the deal, that's not really clearing Neil's name. I don't know.
No.
It's a line that you can't think about as hard as I do.
It's true. Because if you think about it, you're like, wait a minute. It all falls apart.
Neil goes to leave, gives Peter a burner phone. And Peter's like, don't tell me anything about it because I need plausible deniability.
Yep. Which I actually wrote down, like, Peter's using plausible deniability as a loophole, which I feel like is something that he's starting to pick up from Neil, is like using loopholes in the law.
Right.
It's very cute.
Oh, okay. I'm going through my notes. I have a question for you real fast because I skipped something I want to bring up.
Okay.
So Fowler did frame Neil. How did Fowler put Neil's initials on the diamond after the diamond was logged into evidence?
That's a good question. Well, okay. Here's my theory.
Okay.
I think Fowler faked the evidence. I think he, like, made it look like they found his initials on the diamond, but they're not actually there.
Oh, that's fair.
He just, like, forged evidence.
I did for a second think you meant he faked the diamond, and I was like, yeah. Okay.
Now Tulane did that.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's a good way to do it.
It's the only thing that makes sense in my brain.
In the next scene, it's Peter and Jones. They're getting information about people who think they saw Neil.
Yeah. Yeah, Jones says that there's been sightings of Caffrey from Jersey to Geneva.
And there's a good line because they say he's covering all of his bases. He stole them straight off the field. And I like that imagery.
Yes. Me too. I just like that it's another, like, baseball reference.
Yeah.
Just, like, playing into how much Peter loves baseball and loves to use baseball references.
Right. But Fowler comes over and he tries to be all slimy. And is like, we all just want what's best for the Bureau.
Right. Sure, Fowler.
Sure, Fowler. But then it cuts into where I was saying that I think Fowler is disbelieving that Peter's giving him the best information because he asked where Peter thinks Neil is now.
Yeah. And then he says you don't think he'd stay in Manhattan because Peter says he's probably leaving the country or trying to at least. And then Peter says, would there be a reason to? Just completely stone-faced, like calling Fowler on his bullshit.
Right.
I love Peter.
That's so fair. Also same. But Fowler says, like, I just want to make sure we're using our resources as wisely as possible.
And then Peter says again, like I said, roadblocks and wanted posters.
Yep. And then he says, like, oh, if you don't mind, we're going to get back to work. And he, like, huddles with Jones. He's, like, leaning over Jones's desk. But Fowler keeps standing there. And they both look over their shoulders to, like, glare at him. And it's so funny.
It's so good. It's clear. It's very clearly, like, they're a team and he's an outsider and he needs to go away.
Yep. I love them, like, making a big show of excluding him. It's like,
yes,
it's very much like they're putting their shoulders together and, like, blocking him out.
Yes, it's so good.
They couldn't have been more obvious, which is, like, it's funny to me how purposefully obvious they are about it. They're like, we don't like you and we're gonna show you.
It's very petty, but, like, in such a satisfying way.
Yes, it's Petty Peter again.
I love Petty Peter.
Yes.
And then Peter tells Jones to like, tail Fowler and keep an eye on him. And Jones is like, I'm allowed to do that? And Peter's like, I'm telling you that you're allowed to.
Right.
I'm authorizing you to do it.
And immediately Jones is like, yes, I'm on it. Because Peter goes to leave the office and Fowler's goon tries to follow him. And Jones is immediately stepping in front of the guy and asking him questions.
Yeah, so that he can't follow Peter. It's so good. Jones understood the assignment.
Yeah, he understood it and stepped into it immediately.
Immediately. Oh, and then we get to one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Well, almost. Because first, Peter gives Neil a call and tells him to meet him back at the jewelry store so that they can figure out how he allegedly pulled this all off.
Yeah.
And I love Peter using that, how you allegedly.
Right.
Using Neil's lingo. It's very cute.
It's so good.
Did you want to talk about the film thing with that scene?
They're talking on the phone and they hang up and Neil, in his shot in the camera, he's supposed to like walk with the crowd, but what actually happens is that Neil hangs up and then vanishes as like a person walks past.
Yes.
And it's really funny because it's accidental. He just like perfectly timed up with the person walking in front of the camera. And it's so funny because they love the effect of Neil just disappearing in the crowd so much that it gets reused a couple times throughout the rest of the series.
Yeah. It becomes a thing.
And it's just so funny that this thing that they did by accident, they were like, yep, we're going to do that at least, I think, 3 more times that I can think of.
Yeah, at least. And then another character does it once, too. I love it so much.
It's so good. And they did it by accident. And that's even more iconic of them.
It is. It's so good.
But then Peter and Neil meet up. And Neil's holding, because he's the most obvious man to ever live. He's holding a newspaper with his mugshot on the front. And I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Because Neil says, I never really liked this picture. When is that mugshot from?
I think
he's making it sound like it wasn't like his most recent mugshot from this arrest.
Yeah, he is. Do you think that it's his mugshot from when Peter found him in Kate's apartment, or do you think it's his very first mugshot from his first arrest?
I don't know. Hold on, I have to look at it again. Because it might have been...
Yeah, look at it.
It might have been the one from the first arrest.
It could be.
Theoretically, because it looks... Okay, it theoretically could be the one from Forging Bonds, because it's a button-up shirt. But also, in Forging Bonds, Neil had more buttons undone. Which I think is a funny thing to imply that when he was like being interrogated by Peter, he buttoned his shirt up further.
Let me just button this up for you. It's too distracting having it open.
I was originally thinking it wasn't the one from Forging Bonds. And obviously Forging Bonds is a season 2 episode. So what?
Right.
Like we can hardly hold details that they would carry on details from this episode to that episode.
I mean, they're notoriously bad at detail continuity.
Right. But anyway, I just think it's funny. I just wanted to call it out in a very silly way of like this mystery mugshot. When's it from?
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to say I think it's his first mugshot.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not the one from the second arrest. Because in that one, he was wearing a white t-shirt.
Yep.
So it's either from Forging Bonds or from a different time he was arrested and then somehow not sent to prison.
Charged, yeah.
Which is a very interesting story that could be told.
Absolutely. I want to hear that story.
Right. Do you want to go off on this scene?
I love their interaction. I love their banter because Neil's like, okay, well, I'm not supposed to be here. And then Peter very smoothly is like, I'm going to tell them that you're in my custody and you're going to show me how you got in. And Neil says, that's stealthy, Peter. I'm starting to like you again. And then Peter's like, well, we're hanging out too much.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's like one of my favorite exchanges of the episode.
It's so fair.
There's so many, but it's so good. They're adorable.
They're so good. They're so cute.
They're so good. And it's also like a cute little moment of Peter like picking things up from Neil.
Yeah.
Because it's another one of those things where it's like almost the truth.
Right. They go in. They investigate the vault where the diamond was stolen.
Yes.
They somehow... I remember you bringing this up last time, too. That...
Yes.
Here, do you want to talk about it?
They notice that one of the lights is flickering. And so they check out the light and then they're like, okay, it's fine. There's nothing behind it. And somehow, Neil thinks that that could be a misdirect. And that means that they need to look at the other light that's not flickering. And they look at that light and there's like a secret hidden passageway behind it.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how one light flickering, how it's supposed to be a misdirect. Like, did he purposely make the light flicker so that they would look at that one, see nothing behind it, and then just assume that there was nothing behind the other one? Is that the logic there? I don't understand. I don't get it.
I think so. I think that's the logic. But it definitely doesn't have, like, a smooth understanding to it.
It doesn't. It doesn't, like... I've had to watch it several times to make it make sense.
Yeah. That's fair.
But I also love, like, Neil immediately asks, how did the FBI miss this? And Peter's like, we didn't. It was Fowler's team because he had OPR take over the investigation. And I just love the implication that Neil knows that Peter's team wouldn't have missed something like that. Like, they would have checked behind both lights. They would have been thorough.
Yeah. That's so fair. But they look behind the not flashing light and discover, like...
They do.
Recently re-bricked wall that they can just kick in.
Yeah.
And they do. And they climb through it. And it comes out into like a pathway on the sidewalk. Outside the building, obviously. Sidewalks aren't in buildings.
And they're just... and there just happens to be a security camera pointed right at it.
Perfectly positioned.
Perfectly positioned. What luck.
And of course they go home and look over the CCTV footage.
They do.
And manage to see Adrian Tulane.
It's Tulane.
And they specifically are able to see him because they didn't think they were going to at first. But then a hot woman walks by him and he turns around to look.
Yeah, because he's facing away from the camera and starts walking away. But a pretty girl passes him and he turns around and they're like, got him.
It is funny to me because he's wearing the ski mask in the vault. I like that somewhere between actually getting it and climbing out of the tunnel underground, he decided to take the ski mask off.
I mean,
I guess
if he just saw someone climbing out of a thing on a sidewalk wearing a ski mask, he would be like, That's
fair. I also feel like if anybody climbed out of a thing in the sidewalk, I feel a little alarmed.
That's true. That girl had to have seen him climb out of there.
She walked by so calmly.
She's like, yeah, that's normal. It's New York.
It is New York. That's fair. The ski mask probably is the only thing that would have made it weird.
People just climb out of holes in sidewalks all the time in New York City.
Us and our New York City knowledge. That's the one thing we're certain of.
Yes.
Is that people climb out of holes.
And eat black and white cookies.
Oh my god. But they're cute. And they finally got Tulane on camera.
They have a cute banter moment again.
Yeah.
There's so much banter in this episode.
There really is.
Neil is like, I knew his plane tickets were fakes. And Peter's just like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And then Neil just doesn't answer.
Right.
And then one of them makes a comment. Do you remember which one of them? I think it's Neil. He says that they got him because he couldn't resist a pretty face. No, Peter says that. And then Neil's like, it happens to the best of us.
And Peter just gives him a look. And Neil goes, what?
You know what? No, I don't. Yes, you do.
Yeah. It's more of that. It's more of the little banter that I feel like happens as Tim and Matt are waiting for them to call cut.
Yes. Yeah, because it feels like, it doesn't feel scripted. Like, it feels organic.
Yeah. And so it's just them continuing the scene a little extra long.
I love it.
It's very funny. I love when they do that. It's the same as when in the pilot part 2 where they're arguing over the paint. If the initials are there or not
Yes.
in the church.
Yeah, it has that same
Mm-hmm.
energy. Like, exact same energy. I love it. So then we go to the FBI office,
Yeah.
and Peter's interrogating Tulane.
It's funny because it starts with Fowler and his Goonies walking in, and Jones goes, "I see you got my page," and they're pissed.
Yes, I love Jones for that.
He keeps such a good expression on his face this entire time. Like, Fowler's like actively being antagonistic, and Jones is like, "What did I do? I'm just doing my job."
Love it so much.
It's only if you did something wrong that something's wrong here.
Right.
That's just the energy.
It is. It's so good.
Because Fowler tells Jones, he's like, "You had no business helping Burke disappear like that," when Jones stalled one of the Goonies from chasing Peter down.
Right.
And Jones, like, bats his eyelashes, all innocent, goes, "Why would Agent Burke disappear? You think he was being followed?"
It's so good.
It's so good.
I love Jones. I love Jones for that.
It's incredible. Fowler says, "I can run a review on every criminal you've handcuffed." And Jones is like, "Oh, well, you can start with the one in the conference room."
Right.
Where Tulane is giving his confession to Peter.
Well, Tulane is being interrogated by Peter.
You're right. That's a better way to put it.
But that's also such a good line from Jones. Jones is just so good in that scene. He's just, I love him.
It's amazing.
So good. I feel like this is the best that we've seen Jones so far in the series.
That's so fair. I completely agree with that. Definitely a good Jones episode.
It is. So then Fowler walks in on the interrogation, and as soon as he walks in, Tulane starts acting so fishy, and I feel like Peter should have figured it out right then that, like, they were kind of in on it together, because Tulane's very pointed about it. He's like, "Oh, is he the prosecutor?" And he's like, "The more that I stay here, the more I think this whole thing is a setup." And he's staring right at Fowler when he says it. And I feel like Peter's smart enough that he should have put it together.
Yeah. Even if Peter could put it together, though, it's not like a direct enough confession to anything.
That's true.
There is an interesting moment where Peter tells Tulane that if Tulane tells him who did this, he would give him immunity.
Yes.
And
immunity for a name.
Yep.
Because he knows that Tulane, like, he knows there's a benefactor and that someone hired Tulane to do this.
Yeah. And he, like, ends up yelling it at one point in time, immunity for a name.
Yep.
And it's just, like, a kind of intensity that is really interesting for Peter.
It is.
Like, it's almost desperate.
Yeah. Because he wants to know who's pulling the strings. Like, who did this.
Yep. And he's so pissed that Tulane isn't. Like, immunity is such a big bargaining chip.
It is.
And it's crazy that Tulane isn't taking that. It really shows whoever bought him out is powerful.
Yeah, it really does. Like, it goes over Fowler. There's obviously someone else pulling the strings.
Yep.
But they don't get anything out of Tulane.
No.
And as Fowler is leaving, Peter walks up to him and gives him the bug back. Just, like, tucks it into his shirt pocket. And he's like, "You left this at my place." And I love Peter in that moment, because just the amount of confidence that you have to do something like that.
Right.
I love
Definitely a bold fucking move.
So bold. So bold. Such a Peter thing to do.
And it just irritates Fowler even more.
Oh, yeah. It pisses them off.
Yeah. He tells Peter that he's not done with this investigation.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just glare at each other as Fowler gets on the elevator and the door slowly shut.
Very dramatic.
Very dramatic. No slow-mo this time, though.
No, thank goodness. That would have been too much slow-mo. But the next thing we see is that everyone's celebrating because Neil's back.
Yeah.
They're in the conference room.
They even tell him that they're celebrating twofold because they're both glad that Neil is off the hook and that their jobs are easier when Neil helps them and doesn't run from them.
Yes, it's so cute. And Peter's pouring champagne.
Yeah, into paper
and
cups.
Neil's like, you really shouldn't drink champagne out of paper. Yeah. And then Peter says, you will and you'll like it.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Very cute. I do want to know, though.
Okay.
They had just cleared his name. Like, literally just cleared his name. And, like, accused Tulane of doing this. And just like that, Neil is good to come back.
Right.
Like, just like that. He still escaped. He still ran.
Right.
But they found the guy who did it. And then Neil's back. He's back. Yay.
Apparently, Mozzie's a really good lawyer.
I guess. It's just so weird. Like, I feel like there's got to be a process. There's got to be paperwork. I'm sure he had to have some consequences for running.
Right.
It's just so,
for
like,
diving out of a
they found the guy
chamber.
and Neil's back. Yay. Right. It's so wild.
It's so wild. This is definitely an episode where I'm like, I would love to know these in-between scenes.
Yes. Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
And then Neil gets a phone call.
Yeah.
And Peter teases him about it because someone comes up and they're like, Mr. Caffrey, you have a call on line 2. And Peter does not let it go. He's like, oh, Mr. Caffrey, line 2. Mr. Caffrey. Mr. Caffrey has a call.
Oh my goodness.
It's so cute. I love Peter teasing him.
Right. And Neil tells him it's probably my lawyer. And Peter goes, you should put him on retainer.
Yes. And even the way Neil answers the phone call, like, he assumes that it's Mozzie right away and just answers the phone. And he's like, Mozzie, I told you forged my signature.
Yeah.
But it's not Mozzie on the phone.
No, it's Kate.
It's Kate. Being cryptic as ever.
Right.
And just telling... What does she even tell Neil? Nothing useful.
Yeah, that. The guy chasing her is in the FBI, which we already knew because of Maylin.
Yeah. And that he's close.
Yep.
Neil goes back to his apartment to talk to Mozzie. Mozzie is all ecstatic because he's got apparently this box full of random evidence, I guess. Secrets. He calls it a mystery box.
Well, I think it's all the files on Neil, but
he says how many shots from the knoll.
You could ask him where
Elvis still
Presley
alive?
died.
Like, yeah.
And so I need more information about those files, especially because
yes,
they never come up again. What's in them? If it's every file that the FBI had on Neil,
like, that's a treasure trove of content that they just whoop, one and done.
There could have been so much use for Neil out of that box.
So much. They could have used that so many times. But Mozzie, it's basically, we just need this scene so that Mozzie can tell Neil that he found a hotel room that's linked to Fowler from before he showed up.
Yeah. And Neil goes there. And the scene out of the whole show that makes the least amount of sense and any questions it raises will never be answered.
Never. It's so frustrating.
It's so frustrating.
Because it's so confusing. Neil, like, barges in, and there's all these agents, and Fowler, of course.
Right. It's Fowler's team, his Goonies and everything, on a stakeout.
Yeah. In this hotel. Why are they there? What are they doing? Fowler says, how do you know about Mentor?
Yeah.
Which is, like, an operation that we'll hear a lot about and get zero answers about.
Yep. It's like, oh, we're working on Operation Mentor. That's why we're undercover. And
right.
Neil says something, like he starts looking for Kate. And
Yeah.
Fowler's like, Kate's not here, dude.
Yeah.
And Neil says, you're lying. You've been watching me. Even before the jewelry heist. And Fowler goes, I'm not watching you, Neil.
Yeah, he says, I didn't bug your phone.
Oh, a moment of silence for the scene that happens next. Imagine if I actually left a moment of silence in.
That'd be funny. I get it because it's like the mid-season finale and they needed to end on a cliffhanger. But it's
that's as far as I can get
it. Yeah. It's just Peter sitting awkwardly, creepily in a hotel room,
in the dark,
wearing an FBI ring, in the dark, wearing an FBI ring, in this weird, fancy chair.
Yeah.
It's set up so he looks like such a creep.
Right. Very, very standard, typical, like, villain-esque.
Yes. And then Kate walks in, and it's just like, hello, Kate. Hello, Peter. We need to talk about Neil.
Yep. Dun, dun.
End of the episode. Dun, dun. It's very much set up to make you think that Peter's the one holding Kate.
Right.
And I mean, I'll admit, when I saw it when it was first airing, and also, like, when I watched it again at the beginning of this year, like, got back into White Collar, I fell for it both times. I was like, oh, Peter has Kate? Peter doesn't have Kate.
Yeah. It's just weird. The whole mentor scene and the scene, they're both just so weird. And mentor doesn't ever get
they're
instant
cringy.
Answers. It's just, they're both very, like, obviously they'd have a big impact watching it live and stuff. But knowing that no real answers come from these scenes just really takes down the impact of them.
It does.
It's just like the cost of writing for a good, like, cliffhanger, I guess, is that it came at the expense of writing that would hold strong through the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And I think in the other cliffhangers they have in the other mid-season finales are better posed questions to have answers in, like, the episode that premieres for the second half of the season. But in this season 1 mid-season finale, they just pose too lofty of questions.
Yeah. I agree.
But that's it for Freefall.
That's Freefall. I'm so excited that we made it to Freefall. It's one of my favorite episodes, and I'm also very excited that we get to record from scratch now.
We're gonna go on a quick hiatus, because that'll be our way to get a backlog a little bit.
Yeah.
This episode's coming out late because you've been sick and I've been having difficulty recording. And it'll be nice to have a little bit of a backlog because that will help us accommodate things like that.
It will.
But, do you have anything for a rapid fire?
I do. Do you?
Yeah. Before we get too off track.
Yes. Do you want to start or should I start?
I can start.
Okay.
When they go into investigate the pink diamond in I can't think of the word I was saying earlier. The expo, whatever it is. The showcase. That's it. They're looking at all the models that are posing as mannequins. Like, not blinking or anything. And Peter tells Neil, this isn't something you see every day. Unless maybe if you're you.
Yes. It's a good line.
It's a good line. Especially because it kind of mimics what they said in Threads. Where it's like, no, not Threads. Book of Hours. Where it's like, this is how people talk in Neil Caffrey's world.
That's true. It's a good point. Good callback. I'm here to do my episode fashion comment.
Oh, yeah.
I just like that Neil is wearing a trench coat in the beginning of this episode. He doesn't wear trench coats very often, but he's wearing one and it looks good on him. It's cute. It's a good trench coat. I like it.
That's fair. I can go off of that by saying there's 2 fruit bowls in this episode. Except they're not. Some of the fruit bowls in this show are egregious fruit bowls. They've got so much fruit in them.
Yeah, like the one in the pilot.
Yeah. These 2 have very normal amounts of fruit. Like a couple apples. It's not piled high of apples, grapes, and mangoes.
Do you want to talk about the not fruit bowl that you spotted?
Oh my god. Okay, I didn't have that in my notes. But there's just one table in the boutique that's just filled with mannequin parts. It's like an arm and a thigh and a head and 2 hands just like pointed at the sky. It's a weird table.
It's very unnerving when you notice it, which I would not have done if you didn't.
I sent that picture to you and I said nothing.
I was concerned.
Okay, it's not even, I'm looking at it again. It's not even just a mannequin head. It's a mannequin, like, from the collarbones up.
It's a mannequin bust.
Anyway, it's just a creepy table.
It is a creepy table.
We can move on from it now.
Okay, so when in the prison, when Peters are visiting Neil, there was one line that we didn't mention that I wanted to call attention to because I really like it.
Okay.
Peter mentions that his initials were found on the diamond or whatever. He says, you know, he looked at the notes under polarized light because Neil told him to. And Neil says, "Do you think I'd be stupid enough to do that again?" And Peter's response to that is, "I guess you were." Which I think is also like a little hint there that he doesn't fully believe that Neil did this. Because it's an interesting response for him to say, "I guess you were."
Right.
I think it's like showing that Peter knows that it doesn't add up.
Yeah, I get that. And I do wish we could go back and record that bit because I think it's really interesting how back and forth Peter is in like his behavior, but not in his words.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
How he acts is so different from how he like portrays himself.
Yes.
And that's like what I was trying to get at, but I got like derailed by something else.
That's fair, but that's a really good point because you're spot on. Like Peter's words are very like Neil did this and I'm sure he did it, but his actions are so like back and forth.
Yeah. Peter is displaying doubt, but isn't acting upon it until he's like prompted to. Anyway, so that's something I was trying to get at earlier and like I have us explore better, but I got sidetracked on the like when did Peter start changing his mind? Because I don't think the true thing is I don't think Peter thinks anything either way with confidence.
Okay, yeah, I could agree with that.
He's acting with confidence because it's like a like defense mechanism thing. Circling back, sorry, we're in the fucking rapid fire, and I'm going way the fuck back because I'm like, hold on.
This is our podcast. There's no rules.
I have more
Nobody's
to say.
Tell us
it's our podcast for 11 people. I have shit to say, actually.
Just say it. That's what we're here for.
Because it goes all the way back to the dolly zoom that I was talking about, where Peter feels like the walls are closing in on him and stuff. Where it's like he was so defensive with Fowler in being questioned, and he was so annoyed that the thing with Tulane didn't come through. But I think he just gets so scared of being wrong about Neil that he has to double down on Neil doing him wrong.
Okay.
Because he doesn't want to have faith and then get tripped up further.
Like, almost like the the cost of being wrong one way is better than the cost of being wrong the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that.
It's kind of one of those things where somebody thinks their partner is going to break up with them, so they break up with their partner first.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that kind of energy, even though Neil's like, hey, I wasn't trying to do shit to you, actually.
Yeah.
But Peter's already so, like, Peter's already so, afraid isn't the right word. But it's like, he's just so much hedging his bets on Neil betraying him that it's like, nope, we're just good. I just have to commit to believing this. Because if I let myself have too much belief that the other way is true, I'm just going to fall that much further.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good way to put it.
Peter willingly jumping 2 feet rather than being shoved off a cliff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, you just went off, but go ahead.
It was on your point, to be fair.
That's true.
And ran. I said, and another thing, actually. Just one of them I have is when they're meeting Tulane in his weird apartment with a purple couch.
Yes.
Peter tells him that he loves his alleged work.
Neil.
Yeah, Neil tells Tulane that he loves his alleged work.
Yeah, that was one of mine too.
It's so funny.
It is. It's so good. That was on mine too. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's a very iconic line that we accidentally missed over.
When Peter is talking to Fowler and Hughes after Neil did his great escape. They're part of the time when they're arguing. Yeah. Part of the time when they're arguing, one of the things he says to Fowler is never assume anything with Neil. And I love that line.
Yeah.
It's very true. Never assume anything with Neil. When they meet outside of the jewelry store, I have 2 back to back because Peter walks up and calls him Jacko, and I like that. That's very cute. But also speaking about the mugshot, Neil says that it's better than his driver's license photo, and Peter says, which one? You have several.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, one crime at a time. We're gonna move on past that.
Right. The same as Neil having a metric ton of credit cards.
Yes.
The last point I have is when Neil and Mozzie are talking after Neil got the phone call from Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Right as Mozzie is introducing that he found the hotel room and stuff, Mozzie goes, I have a theory. And Neil goes, conspiracy? And Mozzie goes, of course.
It's such a good line.
It's such cute dialogue between them. It's not quite banter, but it's very cute understanding.
It's very them.
It's very them.
And it was right after he was going off about conspiracy theories, how many shots from the knoll and whether or not Elvis is really dead.
Yeah.
August.
Rainy.
We made a podcast.
Thank fuck.
Are we ready for our outro, or was there anything else that you wanted to say?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, you can follow us on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Alleged Details, or on Tumblr and YouTube at All the Alleged Details. If you want to support our show, have ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, and bonus content, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/All the Alleged Details. Our theme song is titled Allegedly and was written for us by babydollbucky, and our artwork was made for us by Cheyenne Couture. You can find links to their info on our Tumblr.
Yeah.
And our next episode is not going to come out until January 8th. Is that correct?
No, the 15th.
Oh, the 15th. Okay. Oh, almost a whole month.
Ooh.
And also, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and all the other holidays in between. Happy holidays.
Yes. We hope you get plenty of good rest and you get to start the new year bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yes.
And have more fun with us in White Collar.
When we get to the second half of season 1, and I don't know, I feel like our episodes might have like a slightly different energy because it'll be like the first time that we do them.
The first time we talk about the episodes, we're not trying to remember everything we said the first time.
Yeah.
There's been so many times in these past couple episodes where we're like, we had really good points. We just have to talk about them again. and now it'll be actually us getting to hear everything the other person has to say for the first time.
Which means a lot more genuine reactions. Like, there were so many times you told me things that I didn't know, and it blew my mind.
Yeah. Luckily, I managed that this time. Woohoo.
You did.
And I feel like you blow my mind a lot, too. Especially because you just help me. You help me either when you blow my mind, or you help me understand things that I couldn't think about in certain ways.
I think we're both good at that.
Yeah. Fun of a podcast.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next year.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.